string. 7th string. So I have, just like the acoustic violin, I've got an E, I've got an A, I've got a D, and I've got a G. Just like the regular violin, right? Then I keep going down. So I know there was at least one viola player here, right? And what's the lower viola string? C. C. There's the C string. And then I'm going to keep going down in what's called fifths. So all of the notes, all of the strings are 5 notes apart from each other. So if I have E, and then I have A, and then I have D, and then I have G, and then I have C, can anybody guess what the next note down would be? Those of you who are violinists and violas, it's whatever's directly across the string. It's F. What's your name, dude? Owen, and my viola player, Claire. Will you be here tomorrow night, Claire? At a concert? I hope so. I'm playing viola at tomorrow night's concert, so I hope to see you there. And then, is it Owen again? Yeah. Owen, what do you think the lowest note would be? B. B flat. Very good, Owen. So I have the entire string section on my shoulder. I've got a violin, I've got a viola, I've got a cello, and I get a little bit of bass in there. This goes 1 note lower than the cello. So it goes a little bit into bass territory as well. Now, this is an electric violin, as we talked about. So let's talk a little bit about the physics of a violin, of a stringed instrument. With an acoustic violin, how is the sound made? How is it produced? You guys did the same thing with your cigar box guitars here, too. How does the sound come out? What do you think? Owen's friend there. Who's next to you, Owen? What's your name? Steven, how does the sound come out of a violin with an acoustic stringed instrument? You don't know? Oh, were you just stretching? Just stretching. All right, Julia. Vibrations. Very good. So tell me a little more about these vibrations. What happens? If I pluck the string, or if I bow the string, it's an interesting way to play a violin. What's happening? What is happening? How are vibrations happening? Go ahead. Vibrations make the sound, right? So the vibrations get picked up by this part of the instrument, which is called what? Anybody know what this is called? The bridge. Very good. So the vibrations get picked up by the bridge. The feet of the bridge send the vibrations into the inside of the body of the instrument. See how the violin is hollow, right? And guitars, acoustic guitars, are hollow as well, and so are your cigar box guitars, right? So there's a hollow box, an empty box inside there. So those vibrations get picked up, they bounce around inside the instrument, and then where do they come out? The F-holes, the holes on top, right? For the acoustic guitar, there's generally a big hole in the middle of the instrument, right? That is where the sound comes out. Now, I don't have any of those things on here, so how does my sound work on my electric violin?
Echo.
What do you think?
Echo.
Kind of. You're on the right path. Go ahead. What do you think? Yes, you're on the right track. Absolutely. Let me put this back safely, and then we'll talk about it. So I bow or I pluck the string, and sound vibrates. The string vibrates, and then the bridge picks it up. But here's the difference. I do not have a hollow body. This is a solid piece of wood. It looks like a spaceship, right? But it's a solid piece of wood, and there's wiring inside there. So the bridge picks up the vibrations, and there are known as pickups underneath each string in my bridge. And that sends the vibrations, turns it into a signal that goes through this tiny little wire that comes out to this wire. And I am actually using what's known as a wireless system, so I can run around the stage without having any cables tripping me up. And then that sends that to that little box in the back, and the little box is connected by wires to the speakers, and that's where my sound comes out. So I used to live in a tiny little apartment in New York City. My neighbors hated it when I practiced with my volume turned up. You can imagine why, right? And it can get even louder, and it can get messier, and it can get a lot more fun. But imagine this. I've got this magic. Mine looks like a skull in here, right? It's very rock and roll. If I turn, this is a volume knob. If I turn it down, this is as loud as my instrument gets. Can you even hear it?
Yeah.
Barely, right? So my neighbors loved it when I practiced without being plugged in, right? Because there's no sound. It's great. So you want to hear some music? Yeah. All right, let's do it. Anybody ever heard of the Beatles? Yeah. The Beatles were probably, well, they're definitely one of the most influential bands of all time. Probably one of my very favorite bands of all time. And I did a cover of a Beatles song on my last CD. So I'm going to play that. It's called Blackbird. You guys heard the song Blackbird? This is a little bit of a different version of Blackbird than you've probably heard. Blackbird. And we're going to use the D major pentatonic scale. Do you know what that is? I'm going to teach you. No worries, it's super easy. Does anybody know what a well, do you know what a scale is? What's a scale? Go ahead, Owen.
Like the lower note going to right next to the octave higher.
Yep, exactly. So you go step by step. Step by step from one note to the next. Usually there's 8 notes in a scale, and it goes an octave, right? Oct is 8, so 8 notes in a scale is an octave. So what do you think do you guys feel about that? Yeah?